All right, what's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie all day. So, I just filmed an entire video test review on the RMJ UCAP, right? Up close and personal. You can see it is a handmade knife. It doesn't have to be perfect. When it's handmade, it has to be just right. This thing is in every way just freaking right. So now this is Scab's blade, right? Choir Boys Outdoors. He's the one who sent this to me to borrow. I already mentioned how I gave it a brand new, shiny, perfect, beautiful edge. It did not come that way, believe me. But what I'm feeling, I was getting ready to pack this up. I polished it, I cleaned it, I got it ready to go. But you see how rough it is? It's very used. And I started thinking to myself, I love this knife. And I know that Scab does too. He must. It's just a great knife. And it's hurting my feelings to see it in such disarray. You could see a lot of the bluing is off of there. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to re-blue this, new blue this, and give it a nice tone to it. And this is kind of like a surprise. Scab doesn't know I'm doing this. If he hates it, then I'm going to feel bad. But I think this blade needs to be brought back to life. I want this thing, when he gets it back, I want it to look like it's pretty much brand new. It saddens me to see it not looking brand new. So I am going to change all that. Let me grab my open bottle of Super Blue. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to use, I know it's backwards, but it says Super Blue. I love this stuff. It's a great bluing agent. And then what I'm going to do after I blue it is I'm going to shock it with cold water, and then I'm going to re-blue. So it's a pretty simple process. You just need to give it a little mix there, but put some blue on a paper towel and then just massage it in there, and hopefully it will take really, really well. And we'll be able to tell by the edge, especially, and you can see how the edge is darkening. So the edge went from shiny, that's paper towel on it, not chipping, to blue. So that means the steel, because it is a very high carbon steel, it will hold the bluing. So I am going to sit here and massage some of this blue into the blade to give it back its nice dark, look at that, how pretty that is already. Nice dark coloration instead of the missing coloration. So I'm going to do it and then clean it and then do it again and then probably do it again. I'll probably do 3 or 4 coats, because I want the dark lines to come back into this knife, and I want it to look really, really nice, kind of like brand new. Scab is one guy who deserves to have his knives looking perfect. So I'll show you when it's time to shock it. All right, so real quick, I know it's kind of hard to tell because of the lighting, but golly, this looks so cool. So on this side, I haven't done yet. You could see I did drift over. That's all paper towel stuff on there, but it's kind of hard with this lighting. You could see where it's missing color, right? It goes straight down to the steel. And this line is not prominent on this knife because it's so worn. But look at that. Look at that. Now you can absolutely see where that knife got cut in, where that bevel is. And you could see there's no more plain steel showing through. It's pretty much at a almost, because it's still scratched underneath, it's almost at like a brand new, and it's really hard to tell from the light, but because when it shines it looks lighter than it is. But gosh, man, that is starting to look really cool. Hold on. All right, so now I'm going to shock it. So all that means is I need to run really cold water, and I want to hit it so it shocks it and makes it kind of like stick even better. And that's all I'm doing is running it through the cold water and then drying it off until it's really, really dry. And then I'm going to start the bluing process again, and you can see how those dark lines are coming in? Man, that looks great. That looks great. I am digging this. You know, I probably had 100 subs when I came up with the whole Brother of the Blade thing, and I started just saying it randomly. And I started doing shout outs when I had very little subs myself. And it really started to build this cool community. And the reason I did shout outs and things is because nobody ever shouted me out when I started. There was none of the knife guys out there. They had thousands of subs. None of them cared. They didn't answer. Like whenever I make a comment on a video, I never got an answer. You know, they were just that. It was kind of a closed off thing. They were only into their own thing and did it their way. And that's how it was. So when Scab came along, it was like I had like a boost, man. I had like a boost because here comes this guy who decided, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure that this thing grows, that the whole Brother of the Blade thing is real. And if it wasn't for Scab, man, I'm telling you, a lot of people got their start from Scab, or got help from Scab, or got loaners from Scab. Something, you know, anything to that nature. And it just, he picked it up. You know what I mean? And if there's anyone more deserving than just that little bit of extra, you know what I mean? It's definitely Scabber. That's just my homeboy right there. So I don't care how much work it takes, how many paper towels I have to go through. I'm going to make this thing look brand new. All right, so I did 3 coats since the last we spoke. Hopefully I can get some kind of good lighting. But you can really, I mean, look at that. Look at the darkness in there. It looks amazing. It really, really does look amazing. It's way better in person now. Before, because the lines were all muted, you couldn't really see those lines unless you were up close on it. Now, man, those things stand out. The ridge lines look great. All the beveling really stands out. So it's almost there. All I'm going to do now is hone it and then get it ready to send back to Scabber. But I have to say, man, this thing looks fantastic. Just having it dark again. I mean, I can only imagine how clean it looked coming out of the box. And while I can't take away all the little scratches in there, who cares? I mean, it lets you know it's still been used, but now it looks more like it would have when it was new, where it was just had that really beautiful coloration, and you can really see these lines stand out now. They went from muted to just in your face. It looks great. So Scabber, thanks again, my brother. I really appreciate you. Love you, my man. Can't wait to see you soon in June. You and Joe and me, we're going to have some fun, man. But yeah, this is good. So now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to clean up the edge, and I'll actually show you. All right, so now the edge is black because it's blued. It's black and blued, but it's not supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is just reset that edge. And while I was just going to do a little honing, I'll bring it back to where it was before I started using it. Woo! Wow. So now you can see the dark against that. Look at that. The dark against that beautiful polish. Man, that is so nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it almost concave. Convex. I just want to get that edge nice and crisp. God, man, that is pretty. That is pretty, man. So let's see. Let's see if I can get y'all. Ooh, wow, look at that. That looks so good. That looks so good. So normally if somebody does a bad job, you're going to see what's called facets. That means for every pass you see a different level. When you hold your hand nice and steady, one facet. That's the important part. All right, so that right there is really nice and sharp. What I'm going to do now is just drop it and probably hit it on a whetstone. It'll be ready. Whew, all right, I put a whole lot of time into that. I didn't expect to, but I did. I just went ahead and gave you a whole brand new edge scab. I really hope you love it, man. Did a lot of work into there. Proud of this one. This came out great, bro. Again, scab. Choir Boys Outdoors, thank you for allowing me to use this. It was an honor and a pleasure. I love this knife. Love it. Gotta get one. And when you get it, you can't tell by camera. But scab, when you have it in your hands and you look at it in person and you realize that you can't see any more of that steel, that worn through steel coming, man, you're going to love this knife all over again. All right, so that's it for that one. I am Donnie B all day. Till next video.